Today, we are joined by Koos, who is going to help us to dig into the next-gen financial growth driver. So Koos, what are the most important trends and players that you observe in the fintech land today?
Yes, well, let me highlight three main things that we see in fintech. So first is on the payments side. So initially we saw a big shift from cash to card. So basically you paying with your credit card or debit card instead of cash. Right now we still see that move, but that move is overtaken by another move, moving into digital wallets. Basically you paying by your phone or by paying with your digital wallet online. Alongside, we have seen a shift towards embedded finance and embedded payments. Next on that agenda is probably the move to agentic payments or agentic commerce, where basically the chatbots or the AI agent is doing the payment and also the transaction for you. Secondly, we have seen a big shift in neobanks and especially profitability of neobanks. Initially, we saw a lot of growth in the number of users of neobanks, and right now, and over the past few years, we've seen a big shift in terms of profitability. And that is not only driven by more fee income, but it's also driven by more interest income. One thing is, of course, that interest rates have gone higher, so that increases the interest revenue for neobanks and for banks in general. And the other part is that they have found their niche in, for example, providing credit to the underserved, and both in emerging markets as well as developed markets. Finally, and that's a trend where I am also very excited about, that's digital assets. So initially this was all about the growth in cryptocurrencies, and right now with the launch of stable coins, basically tokenized US dollars or tokenized euros, we've seen a big shift together with a regulatory environment that is improving, and we're seeing a shift to tokenizing of, for example, equities or tokenization of repurchase agreements, so between banks. And that brings the whole blockchain and the underlying technology into the real world, or what we call real world assets. And that is really exciting.
Well, technology is doing the heavy lifting here. The question is, should we expect actually new players coming into to play a role into this space, or actually incumbents adjusting their business model and find their sweet spot, let's say, in this environment around them that is changing so fast?
Yeah. I guess the answer is a bit of both. So what we have seen is, for example, in payments, an evolvement, right? Where we saw an evolvement from traditional merchant acquirers into e-commerce platforms. And if we think ahead and think about, let's say, agentic commerce, I think we believe that there is a strong foothold for these e-commerce players and e-commerce combined with fintech to move on, because they have that network, they have that unique network. Similarly, also on the neobank side, we already have seen a lot of entrants, and a few of them have grown really big with tens of millions of customers. And well, we would expect these companies to grow their portfolio and their book of business within those customers and that customer base. If we think about digital assets, I guess we're really in only the first innings of what we see there. So we have a few incumbent players, but it's still a very narrow market in terms of companies. And I guess what we will see, and also in the listed equity environment, that there will be a lot of new companies coming up.
So Koos, why is now the right time to invest into this space?
I guess two things. First is, and I guess that's a very important one, is the underlying growth. That has been strong for the past few years, and we would expect that to be very strong for the next few years to come, because of the amount of, for example, in payments, the amount of transactions, it's still growing, especially the move to e-commerce side is still undergoing. And important to note there that we have seen an increase or an acceleration in that growth number. And that makes me really excited because it confirms our belief that the trend is still intact. And the other point on why now is, I guess, it's the capital markets. So whether we look at private funding of fintechs and of new fintech companies, that's accelerating again. If we look at mergers and acquisitions, we see, well, quite a few over the past few months and actually years. And also the IPO market has opened up again. So we see our universe actually expanding again. And that really makes me excited because it tells you that there is demand for fintech and that trend is still ongoing.
Well, the urgency is there. That's pretty clear to me.
Yeah.
And the democratization of finance is entering a new phase where, of course, technology is taking the lead, but also creating a whole new range of opportunities for payment, investing, lending companies, and beyond, at a pace that we've never seen before.